I want to send a clear message to the ones who...
Since we aren't in school, like this is when I get yelled at by a teacher like this is what I miss about school. That's the only thing I miss.
During the course of Monday, the lab instructors basically took a look at the data, started receiving emails from students who were concerned and upset that classmates had been bragging to them that they had advanced copies of the exam and that they aced the exam because they had all the answers ahead of time.
Yeah, he didn't well, he looked at the data.
Guess what? The
and saw
midterm exam
discrepancy.
grades are being tossed.
Tossed.
Whatever you scored on the midterm exam no longer exists. Everybody in the capstone course is going to be required to retake a new midterm exam.
Oh, man.
And before I get into the specifics of that, I want to thank all of the lab instructors and all of the team for working virtually nonstop over the course of the last 96 hours to write a completely new exam.
He's so proud of
with
himself,
about
too.
200 questions to choose from, none of which, and I repeat, none of which
I think some kids
come
found the
from a
answers off
test
the
bank.
internet.
So whoever has the test bank for the midterm, it's worthless.
Worthless.
And I'm presuming you also have a test bank for the final exam, it's also worthless.
Worthless.
Because as soon as this exam is completed, the entire team is going to write a completely new final exam with 0 questions coming from any test bank. Over the course of the past 4 or 5 days, your lab instructors, academic services, and the Office of the Dean have begun and are continuing a forensic analysis of not only all of the data, but all of the available traffic over all of the available...
Well, I think he just took they said a test bank or something. So I think it's probably like a standard test, you know. And your standard for being a good teacher is people not doing well. Well,
requirements that possibly could provide us with better information about where this started and how widespread it is. Let me tell you where we are right now.
Forensic analysis.
Right now, we've narrowed the pool of participants to about a third of the class.
Third of the class did this.
So when you get into your labs this week, just to give you some idea of the perspective of that, when you get into your labs this week, look at the person on your left side, look at the person on your right side. Statistically, one of them cheated on the exam.
Jesus Christ.
Now, we had 2 options.
2.
One was to basically just simply scrub all of the other activities through the rest of the semester, cancel the capstone competition. But that would have been unfair to the 2/3 of the class that was honest and ethical and tried and did it right. But I want to send a clear message to the ones who...
Since we aren't in school, like this is when I get yelled at by a teacher like this is what I miss about school. That's the only thing I miss. Get in trouble.
Propagated it and the ones who encouraged it over the course of the weeks leading up to the midterm exam. As I said to the Associate Dean for Undergraduate Studies when I met with him late last week, I could give him a list today, and I could guarantee him with about a 95% certainty that everybody who cheated on the exam was on the list. What I couldn't do was give him a list and guarantee that everybody whose name was on the list cheated on the exam. That was going to require some further forensic analysis of the data.
It's just like I just miss like the fear of thinking that any of this really mattered.
We expect to have that forensic analysis of the data completed by the end of this week. At the end of this week, we will turn our findings over to academic affairs.
Oh, shit.
And at that point in time, the options and the results and the conclusions are out of our hands. They will do what they need to do to protect the integrity of the university and to protect the integrity of the college. I don't want to be the one to have to explain to your parents why you aren't going to graduate.
Ooh. Oof.
So I went back to the dean and I negotiated a deal with the dean. Unfortunately, the deal has a time limit, and the time limit runs out at 7 a.m. on Monday morning,
7 a.m., folks.
because that's when we're going to turn the data over to academic affairs, and at that point in time, they're going to take over and do their own investigation, and they're not happy.
They are not happy with you guys.
So here's the deal.
I'm deathly afraid of getting in trouble, so this would have terrified me. But I wouldn't have cheated. Too scared of being in trouble because he's such a good guy. That's what he's banking on, Jelly.
If you participated in this, you have a choice. You can sit back in silence and hope your name doesn't get caught in the net, which is very quickly closing around the participants, or you can individually, quietly, one by one, anonymously if you wish, to the rest of your classmates, identify yourself to your lab instructor. If you do that, get to complete the rest of the course. The grade you get in the course is the grade you earn in the course. And providing you complete a 4-hour ethics course being offered by the folks over in academic affairs.
4 hours ethics course. Because he's such a good guy, he worked out a deal.
Any permanent.
Now, you think he's bluffing. That's what makes me curious about that. Is he bluffing? Does he have all this information, or is he just making up shit?
Record of this will
That's
be
what I'm
wiped
curious
from your
about.
transcripts. There'll be no further action taken. So the choice is yours. If you want to take a high-risk gamble, take it.
Take it.
I challenge you to take it.
What would you do, Gon?
Because we know who you are.
We know where you
We
are.
know where you are. And when academic affairs is done, you'll know the outcome. And oh, by the way, for those of you who think that this is something that we
snitches.
caught
Snitches get
by
stitches.
accident, college has informed every faculty member in the College of Business and every faculty member at the University of Central Florida that if they're using a publisher's test
This
bank,
is University of
the
Central
test
Florida.
banks have been compromised. So if you've got a test bank from somebody else's textbook you think you're going to use, don't even dream of it. I've also been in contact with every single one of the major publishers who publishes his textbooks that are used by the College of Business.
He went to the publishers.
They're not only aware of it, but 2 of those publishers have turned the matter over to their legal staffs to pursue whatever legal action comes out of the investigation. The information has also been shared with the Academy of
slinking down.
Management and every organization that deals across college campuses. And I met in Atlanta, Georgia with faculty.
I didn't cheat,
from
Jelly. I didn't even take the
20 universities and
test.
shared it with them.
I didn't even take that. I'm not even in this
The
course.
days of being able to
I'm in the wrong.
find
I'm in the
a
wrong
new
class,
way
sir.
to cheat the system
I think I'm in the wrong class.
are over. They're over. Not just for this course.
Jelly, you're going to ruin
for
my
this
video
university.
presentation.
This kind of behavior will not, cannot be tolerated.
Will not.
Know who you are.
And cannot be tolerated.
To say I'm disappointed is beyond comprehension. Physically ill, absolutely disgusted, completely disillusioned, trying to figure out what was the last 20 years for. For those of you out
What
there
was the last 20
who
years of
acted
my life
ethically
for?
and acted honorably
If children are going to cheat.
and did it right, you have my undying gratitude and my utmost respect. For those of you who took the shortcut, don't call me.
Don't call me for shit.
Don't ask me to do anything for you ever
Don't want to
again.
for a paycheck, you boomer. I wish there was a picture of the children or the students. Oh, there's one down there. See what they're doing.
The midterm exam makeup. will open at 7 a.m. on Monday morning, November the 8th.
Holy cow.
It will close at midnight on November the 10th. It'll be open for 51 hours.
51
That's
hours is
it.
all you have, people.
Those are the hours you get to take the makeup exam.
Yeah, gone.
I don't care what's on your schedule.
People
I don't
do
care what
pay
you
for
have
this.
planned. If you have to give birth, you're going to give birth in the exam room.
Whew.
Because it's going to have to take a signed, hand-delivered note from God
From the Lord.
for you to get out of taking this midterm exam. So adjust your schedules, blow off whatever it is you have to blow off to be there. But this is a one shot, one time, 7 a.m. on Monday to midnight on Wednesday. If you miss it, too bad.
Too bad, folks.
It is mandatory for everybody.
That doesn't mean some of you. That means everybody.
Yep, and you can thank your teammates and your classmates and those that did participate for providing you with the opportunity to do this.
You think this kid cheated down here? Think he's one of them?
I tell you how frustrating this has been. I didn't even have the wits about me in the last 9 days or 8 days to actually load the slides for the Chapter 9 presentations. So I literally have, unless I have it on my,
think he doesn't care.
keychain,
Like
I
a child.
literally don't have the material available to me to be able to present it.
He was so distraught over this cheating controversy. I don't know why I like that so much. But it really... I saw that the other day. And I was like, that's good for the stream. But I forgot about it to the presentation. You have one chance only. And you need an express written telegram from God to get out of this test. I passed business law and went to 3 classes, got an A. Without the test bank, we've informed the publishers and the legal staff. I never took business law. I remember we did get yelled at for goofing around too much at the radio station. We had one of those experiences. The FCC can call at any time and end your career right here. The real power play is changing your name to the Lord and giving him a note. If it doesn't let you out, call him out. I love a good ass chewing video. It's good. I don't know if I would have been afraid in the class. I'm not sure. But made for a fun class that day. This, sir, is a handwritten note from the Lord. If you're going to give birth, you're going to do it in the test class. I don't know what year that was from. I said it's about a 2003 maybe. Ooh. Let's read the comments. University of Central Florida students study for a test and get accused of cheating. Somehow a test bank of 700 questions floats around in the class. Students studied the 700 questions for a 50-question exam. The professor finds out and makes all students retake the exam. He claims he was a forensic analyst team on the case. No one can get out of retaking the exam unless they have a signed note from God. The full length of this video is available publicly on the UCF website. Look at the comments. I'll be going home. I felt like I cheated on this test and I don't even go to the university. This guy makes academic affairs sounds like it's the FBI. Absolutely classic. Dude goes on a rant for 14 odd minutes about how the students cheated. Gets to the end, is about to start the lesson, doesn't even have the lesson material with him. Speaks volumes at the type of educator he was. As a student, I might have fallen for the speech, but now after being faced with a myriad of real-world challenges, I can say with certainty that they got nothing and are hoping for the students to cave in. To me, this is honestly absurd, mainly because where I'm from, this wouldn't be cheating. Using previous year's tests to help study and practice for your own test was actually encouraged when I went to school, and they even openly provided them to us. I agree with that. When I took several tests for works and stuff like that, they would give us, like tests for the Coast Guard, they would give us old tests. And that's what you used. And hopefully you saw some of the test questions. I'm a lab instructor for the C++ class. If I ever found a student looked up answers, I say, cool, you did what the other developers would have. You did what any other developer would have. Here's an A. Imagine not cheating and getting the highest score only to have completely redo it and possibly get a much lower score. Richard, the days of being able to find a new way to cheat on the system are over. COVID-19, I took that personally. You have a yearly ethics refresher? Did they make you take a test? We had to take about 30 hours of like internet classes that were the same every year. After graduating from college and working it was a 700 question test bank. So essentially the students studied. That's a good point right there. After graduating from college and working professionally for 7 years, I can say for certain that college classes are not as important as this man thinks they are. It's impossible to tell from the data exactly how many or who cheated, but are at the same time, the only option is to redo the test. Quite sad someone would cheat like that and ruin the day for everyone else. What's hilarious is the guy basically admits he's not a great teacher, as average scores on his tests are usually lower, and he's done nothing to change his method in years. That's academic for you. I'm the one that gives it. You have to give the ethics class. The guy who got the lowest score. I see this as an absolute win. Imagine angrily lecturing a group of people who pay you thousands of dollars to be there because you were too lazy to make your own exam. I think that is a good point right there. This is the type of professor that will tell you how much you will fail in his class before it even starts. I had a professor like that saying the small handful of us would be lucky if we got a D, that the majority of us would fail because the class is so hard. Mind you, this was a basic psychology class. I passed with a B+ and barely did shit. Never let a professor intimidate you and make you scared of college classes. 90% of the time, it's all fluff talk. The idea that the publisher would pursue legal action is insane. It's one of those, oh, here we go moments as a student when a professor starts rattling off how many years they have been doing this. I mean, memorizing a few hundred questions is literally the same as memorizing a study guide. 9 out of 10, 3/4 of the actual test questions will literally be pulled from the study guide in my experience in college. That's true. Imagine if you actually studied like crazy for this exam and now they think you cheated. Everyone who cheated and didn't come forward has my utmost respect. The professor deserved to get called out on his bluff. There is now no way he can actually prove a specific student cheated with the data he has. Any lawyer would rip his BS analysis apart. 100% his fault for using questions from a test bank too. That is a good point as well. For those who acted ethically and did it right, you have my undying gratitude. The kid who scored a 60 of 200. I got you, man. The days of being able to find a new way to cheat the system are over. I'll take things that age poorly in 2020 for 500, Alex. Do kids even go to school anymore? Like, don't they just do it from home? I called it a shit teacher brags about their class being hard. Yeah, someone said that it's in 20 years and he hasn't changed the test. My calculus teacher never talked about his class being hard. I don't think it's very good to say, like, you'll all fail this class. Like, why would you do that? This happened to me in high school. We found tests from earlier years that had the same question with written answers. We were putting answers she never taught, and she gave us this same speech. I don't know what I spent the last 20 years doing. The statement is very telling. The professor projecting his own lack of confidence in his teaching and taking it as personal insult that the students teaches. I think he needs to see a therapist. Once this teacher starts saying how many years they were been teaching, you know, that's when you know they're mad. Yes. Nobody is saying anything good about this. There should be generally consequences for cheating, but I just don't see how this is a case of that. Cheating is when you break the rules in the exam room. Anything before is fair game, so this is just absurd. I could see if they were in a surgical program telling them if they were like training for the Navy SEALs. But this is kind of just a business class in the middle of Florida. This just tickled me when I read it. This professor would have had a heart attack if he knew what college was like during COVID. Who the hell would ever confess? This guy's bluffing more than a poker table in Las Vegas. Reminds me of the time a professor caught us playing chess in his class without a chess set. We just wrote down the moves on paper. He was crushed that we could play with no board, all the while keeping up with his lecture. They would have passed the Genin exam. So think long and hard if you want to be here, because it won't be easy in the Bell test. They didn't sell out their teammates. Ha. This is the best comment right here. I love the seriousness and severity of his language and tone. This is the biggest, most controversial thing that ever happened in this man's life.